Thank you for the opportunity to talk today about blockchain for digital identity solutions. I guess, yeah, it matches very good to have this session as the last one because this is a topic that we are slowly but surely driving into. However, it's not the topic is not so mature that we can say that we have extensive ecosystem of digital identity solutions based on blockchain. So please go to the next one. So a few words about myself. I am the head of IT strategy at AXA Switzerland. I am responsible for the data technology and innovation strategy. And I focus very much on two topics: the digital business ecosystem space, and on blockchain, and especially tokenization of assets these days. So I am very familiar with what is happening both in this area of ecosystems and digital identity solutions based on blockchain. So the goal of this session today is to introduce you my perspective on digital identity and how it evolved. Also a little bit from the Swiss perspective. Then the second goal is to give you, my view why blockchain is key for the digital identity and for self-sovereign identity, and how the Swiss ecosystem of digital identity solutions look like. It's going to be the last topic of the session. So the next slide, please. So we talked today a lot about the why digital identity matters. I think that, yeah, it is a topic that, especially now after the COVID, when the digital transformation has been massively accelerated, when we spend a lot of our time in the digital space, we need a lot of trust when it comes to our digital identity. We need to authenticate, secure. We need to own our identity, and we need more than a way to authenticate someone to access a resource. So, a digital identity has been there for a while, but it gains a lot of traction right now due to the unprecedented rate of digital interactions that we see nowadays. The digital identities can provide a lot of solutions, can provide a lot of economic value. Most of you probably have read what research is saying. So up to 30% of the GDP by 2030 can be brought as economic value if we deploy this type of digital identity solutions, and we can save a lot, save businesses up to 1.6 trillion US dollars. And the solutions that we create, the solutions that we develop nowadays have a huge potential. If we think at the customers that are out there, 1 billion people have no official proof of identity. So there are a lot of unserved customers. They all want to participate to the digital economy. And we have 3.2 billion people that are unable to effectively use an identity on digital channels. So there's a lot of space for our solutions. Now, yeah, next slide, please. Now, yeah, what is digital identity? We all know that it is information on an existing, on an entity used by computer systems just to represent an external agent. Either this agent is a person, an organization, application, or device, like you guys said. But the question is nowadays, yeah, we we continue to use this digital identity for assessment and authentication, or we need an authentication for the digital identities that we have out there. However, there is also a need to somehow have an overview over this whole digital data corpus that is being created by a person or an organization nowadays online. So the person's online activity is increasingly a lot. So this digital data corpus is evolving a lot. And nowadays, we are talking a lot about an extension of our body or of an organization by this digital identity that is being created. And this brings me to the paradigms that currently exist for the digital identity. We can either, for the authentication solutions that we have in place, we can either have centralized solutions or decentralized solutions. And a solution that is very much, or solutions that are very much now being developed and very much, I would say, invested in are the self-sovereign identity solutions. We have this term of SSI, which in Switzerland is becoming very important every day. That most of you know, I hope. It is the lifetime portable identity for any person or organization that does not depend on any centralized authority. We can take this identity everywhere with us. And this is a great paradigm change to what we have had so far. This decentralized way of looking at the solutions is extremely user-centric. It gives users full control of their own identity. And it gives data back to the customers or to us, organizations and persons. The next slide, please. So why should digital identity solutions be based on blockchain? I said that we need to put people in control of their data. We need to give data to the people that own it. And with blockchain for digital identity, we can do that. We have several issues right now. In our digital world, we noticed that the internet overtook our ability to manage our identities online. Then we noticed that the big data giants have become the new gatekeepers of our data. Think of Facebook, think of Google. And fortunately, we enter a more data conscious era. So it is time to look much more seriously, much more focused on blockchain for identity and on the SSI aspect. So I strongly believe that blockchain-based solutions can solve several big problems of the digital identity. With blockchain solutions, we can have identity ownership, we can gain this identity ownership, because the most important data like birth date, passwords, usernames are staying with us and can be added on the go. The data ownership is also solved. As such, we cannot manipulate the passwords or any data that has been written on the blocks of a blockchain. We also prevent identity fraud due to the fact that the blockchain is an immutable technology. We can solve also the fragmentation problem that we have. Usually, the information on our person is very much scattered over different administrations, over different e-commerce sites over different platforms, social media platforms, and so on. With the blockchain-based solutions, we can also create more trust due to the immutable aspect. The centralized storage issue is also solved, and we achieve the self-sovereign identity that I was talking about earlier. So we are again in power of our own data, or in power of the data of our organization. The next slide, please. So I told you that I will talk also about this topic from the perspective of Switzerland. We are not known as the most innovative country when it comes to digital identity solutions. However, we are on a good innovation path. I would say we started in 2010 with the launch of a product called Swiss ID. This was a chip card and a USB stick for a digital passport and signature. This solution has been replaced. In the meantime, I will talk about it a little bit later. In 2017, 7 years later, in one of the cantons of Switzerland, in Zug, in the Crypto Valley, a blockchain-based digital identity solution was introduced for all inhabitants. And this was a pretty bold step of the canton. In 2018, a draft for EID Act has been handed to the Parliament, and this draft hasn't been finalized yet. Probably this year we will have a referendum referring to this act, and we will see if private firms can be part of EID solutions or not. The people of Switzerland will decide about this probably in 2020 or beginning of 2021. So there is a lot of movement. The regulation is also being put into place, and this also pushes a lot of innovative solutions right now in the existing ecosystem. So next slide, please. Here you can see 3 of the most important solutions in the area of digital identity that we have currently deployed in Switzerland. On the right hand side, you find a Swiss ID solution. This is the solution that replaced the first ever digital identity solution that we had in 2010. This is digital passport and signature system, joint venture of organizations, financial companies, and insurers that that are constantly adding new players, new partners in this solution. You can imagine this as a solution that is basically trying to unite all the digital identities that we as a Swiss person have on each e-commerce, insurance platform, financial services company, and so on in Switzerland. This is not a certified solution, not by the state certified solution, and there might be the possibility of seeing this solution evolve into a blockchain-based solution. Now, the second solution that is very interesting is called eID Plus. This is a blockchain-based solution for the government services. And one of the cantons, one of the cities in Switzerland, Schaffhausen, is already working with this solution, and it provides, Schaffhausen is the city. This solution provides direct access to government and private sector services, and the services are e-voting, e-data, so we are again owning our data and are able to sell it, gather it, exchange it with other institutions or with companies. Then, of course, the e-signature service is also part of it, e-authentication, and so on. This solution, these services are being developed and extended on a continuous base. So a blockchain-based solution. And the last solution that I would like to talk about is called UPort. And this is also a solution that has been launched at a canton level in Zug. I talked about it earlier on. It's self-sovereign identity solution for government services. And UPort is actually a blockchain-based identity protocol that is just allowing individuals to control their identity. It interacts with different administrative services, and it's in a first place providing this customer centricity that you were talking about during the panel. It just reduces the big pile of paper that we all know to digital information that is exchanged between different entities, no matter what we want to solve at the level of administration. And the next slide, please. So this was it from my perspective, the overview of digital identity, how digital identity evolved, and how it evolved into self-sovereign identity solutions in Switzerland. We are seeing that the solutions that exist here are very much linked to blockchain, and we are seeing a lot of efforts to switch from this centralized paradigm to a decentralized one. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Andra. Just one question that I've seen come in from Jorg here that you might be able to answer or might not be able to. It's just about the blockchain-based ID system in Zoom. Do you know how that's performing since it started? Do you know if it's gone well or not?
So all the residents in Zug are actually able to use it, to use the protocol. I invite you also to download the app. You can also have a look into it. You just need to go in the App Store UPort and have a look at it. And yes, it is performing good. In Zug, you can do amazing things by using this service. You can even pay all the services that you have with the administration in Bitcoin, also something that is not possible in other cantons in Switzerland. So yeah, it is performing good, and it is at least now scaling in Zug.
Good. Okay, thank you for your time this afternoon. Thank you for your presentation.